Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? It's been a while. It's your boy the D, the captain of the Thunder God Pirates, and your favorite Anituber here. Been a while, but hey, shit happens. Anyway, current events. I'm not gonna be talking about One Piece chapter 1001. I'm just not. Look, everybody's talking about 1001, and I had some stuff going on, so I had to miss it. So that's just gonna have to be the one that got away. But I am back. I am in the sack. And I shall never lack. Hashtag bars. But real talk, just gonna go ahead and just jump right back into it. I've missed creating, I've missed y'all, so thank you for listening. And also, if you want to see more of my content, my Linktree is in the description below. You can find my link to my Twitter, my streams, and anything else I'm currently doing. And also, if you like what you hear and you want to hear more, definitely check out the rest of my channel and hit that like, comment, subscribe, you know, all that good shit. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. One Piece, chapter 1002. Four Emperors versus New Generation. Alright, this chapter picks up where the last one left off, after Kaido declares that whoever wins this fight is going to be that much closer to being the king of the pirates. We then see here that Kaido prepares his technique and he expels the waves of blades. And it's here that we learn its name, Demolition Gust. And kind of funny the way Law just looks at the attack. He's just looking stern, then pop, just blinks out of fucking existence. And then we see Killer dodging the blades, quite deftly, might I add, and the Mecha Golem that Kid made being slashed apart. And you know, Killer being Kid's partner is kind of worried about him, but then from somewhere inside of the blades, we see that not inside the blades, but inside of the mech, we see Kid. I'm gonna keep getting them confused. 2K names, 2KI names, fuck. But yeah, Killer, I just said it. Kid just says it was scrapped to begin with. He really doesn't care about it. And as he's saying that, we see that the scrap metal is starting to reform back into the golem. And as a blade comes to Zoro, this man, just like a fucking badass, just uses Enma, which is in his left hand. I thought he might be wielding with his right, but since that is his strongest blade, it makes sense that he would, since Zoro is left-hand dominant, even though he's ambidextrous, he's left-hand dominant. Like, he wears his swords on his right hip, because of that, you know, he's right-hand dominant. Well, left-hand dominant. Fuck, man. Look, it's the first one back, y'all gonna have to forgive me. But anyway, he bats it away using Enma, and from his arm, you can tell he's not using Haki, but he bats that shit away like it's nothing, and then it keeps going. It doesn't dissipate, keeps going, and then it cuts a pillar behind him in half. And Zoro's just looking ahead, you know, not even phased. Like he pulls a Blossom from Powerpuff Girls. I think they were fighting Princess, and she tilted her head to dodge a beam and didn't even look back. And Zoro does the same shit. Don't even look back like Trunks did when he fought Frieza. This motherfucker just boom. Okay, what's next? Alright, we then see Luffy using Geppo to go punch Kaido, to which he uses Kong Rifle. And as Kaido, who is sent flying, by the way, in his entire dragon form, is sent flying. And speaking of dragon forms, we still haven't talked about his fruit, what it does. I mean, it's probably gonna be saved for a flashback, kind of like Big Mom's was, but it's like, are we gonna get anything with that? You know, is that gonna be a thing, or are we not getting that? I don't know. But as Kyle's been sitting back, then we see Kid's Golem just fly up, grab Kaido by the head, and slam his ass. And we get another one of Kid's techniques, Slam Gibson. And Kaido, yet again, the only techniques that are drawing blood would be Luffy's techniques, but even as Kaido recovers from this, you can see that he is at least disturbed. So even though Kid and the rest of them aren't technically hurting him, they are at least disturbing him. I'd say that's the best way to put it. They're not killing him. Like last chapter when Killer used his Punisher blades, and Zoro used I think it was Purgatory Onigiri. How the marks appeared on Kaido's flesh, but he wasn't cut. It just created an indentation around his neck. So it's like, okay, they're doing something. They just aren't doing full damage like Luffy. And who knows, by the end of this battle, all of them may be able to hurt him. But then we see Law kind of flipping around as Kaido goes to, ram them and retaliate. And then, yet again, we see Law, who's still using a room. Yet again, at the beginning of chapter 1001, he prepared a room. So even though, this whole thing is going on and, we don't see it, there's a big-ass room on top of Onigashima that Law is using. And he's just popping out of existence. But he then goes on to say that he's never seen a dragon's anatomy, but moving around Kaido, he guesses this is where it is. And then a little to the left of the scar, if you're facing Kaido, it'll be a little to the right, but a little to Kaido's left of where his scar is, like up and to the left, that's where Law puts his Gamma Knife. And it's presumed that he actually hit Kaido's heart, because yet again, Kaido look like his eyes go white and he's screaming in pain. So that hurt him. And it should be said that even Killer's been having the same idea. Like, okay, these scales are too fucking hard, which I'm kind of getting ahead of myself because of what's about to happen. He's saying that, hey, these scales are the problem, but your insides are still mortal, as one would say. So, and that's the thing. And it should be said, like, even in real life, I can't remember what anime it was. I think it might have been History's Strongest Side of Kenichi. But even in real life, you can train your muscles. You can train your extremities. You can train the outside of your skin. You can temper your skin, punching trees and that whole thing, But when it comes to your organs, your insides, those cannot be trained. They're just as squishy as the day you were born. So, something to keep in mind, that they're kind of getting the idea, like, okay, Luffy can hurt him, Kid can throw him around, and Zoro, is doing his thing. It was like, okay, for Killer and Law, they're like, all right, if we can't penetrate these scales, we'll just have to find another way to kill you. We have to get past them. Like, the scales are the issue. So anyway, Kaido then goes on to say, after he recovers from the attack, like, okay, enough of this. Like he's had enough. He's like, enough of this shit. It seems like he even goes on to compliment them. Okay, you're not just mindless goons who are using guts to get to where you are. You've actually been thinking, and you're stronger than you appear. We then see Kid jumping on the battlefield, being as agile as he is, like fucking Levi from Attack on Titan, who just yet again goes on to say, like, the scales are the problem. We got to get past them. And it's here that I don't understand what happens here. So we finally get a named attack for Killer. Now, I believe this is his first name technique. Yet again, we've seen him fight with the Punisher blades. We saw him inside Sabaody Archipelago, and we've seen him with them throughout the rest of Onigashima, the raid. But we haven't seen a named technique. Now, this technique is weird as shit, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because if you read the chapter, you know. He uses a technique by the name of Scyther, which is one of the dopest, if not the coolest, Gen 1 Pokemon. Sonic. I love Sonic games. But anyway, he uses Scyther Sonic. He jumps on Kaido's back, and then he starts spinning his Punisher blades. But the thing is that it's not like how normally like when a vacuum blade is sent from a sword. No, it looks like the entirety of the Punisher blades elongate, get bigger, and are slashing literally through Kaido. So I don't know. I know. Well, Killer does have a devil fruit now. He's forced to eat a smile, but I'm guessing that maybe there's something special about the punishing blades, because you can see it, like they're literally slicing through him. Yet again, not slicing through the scales, but it's looking like they're going intangible so they can cut the inside. Like, I really want an explanation on this because this shit is dope. A, it's dope as fuck. B, it's kind of weird. It's like, okay, so is this another? Cause I think the last time we saw a devil fruit being eaten by a weapon that I can recall was Funk Freed, and then there was in his lobby, and then there was Mr. 4 who had the cannon that ate the dog fruit. So I'm thinking that's what this is. This may be another instance of a weapon eating a devil fruit. But anyway, yet again, Kaido was noticeably disturbed. Yet again, eyes go white, and he's like, in pain. And as Killer's jumping up his back, like, getting ready to continue his attack, then all we hear is crack, see a light, and bam! Big Mom yells out, Endra. And we see a lightning bolt strike Killer. Yet again, kids yelling, Killer, that's his boy, that's his partner, his friend since childhood. And then we see Big Mom laughing. She goes on to tell them, like, hey, look, as long as you're under the open sky, there is no escape for you. And we see her with a flaming Napoleon riding on top of Zeus. So Prometheus and Napoleon have fused, and now she's wielding lightning whilst riding atop Zeus. She then goes on to say that they're more annoying than she originally gave them credit for, and as Killer's smoking from that lightning bolt and falling, Kaido goes into chomp, but Luffy comes at him with a Rhino Schneider yet again. And then he looks at Luffy like, okay, motherfucker, you really want to go? You really want to do this? I bet. He goes on to prepare a Boro breath. And then on the ground, we can see Zoro running. And yet again, Laws being a tsundere. I don't know why this man cannot just take the suggestion. Well, the order. It's kind of an order. They're not ordering you around, but look, bro, we don't have time to ask you if you feel like helping us. Just do it. So he tells Trafalgar to shoot him up there, and Law then looks at him like, okay, first them, now you. Stop giving me fucking orders. Which I kind of understand. Like, hey, I'm a pirate captain. I'll take orders. But it's like, bruh, this situation, we need to coordinate to make sure we win. And then he says, I'm not your personal servant. Then he sends Zoro up there, to which Zoro yet again uses Flame Rend to cut Kaido's Boro breath. Luffy's happy to see him, and it's then that we see Zoro for the first time, like, really bust out Enema's true power. He uses one sword style, jumps above Kaido, grabs his forearm. His right forearm. He's wielding it with his right hand now. Kaido is then looking like, what's that? And it's Big Mom that notices and tells Kaido to watch out. That's not an ordinary sword. Zoro then unleashes a new technique. Well, I don't know if it's the same technique he used against Ryuma when they fought on Thriller Bark, but it's Flying Dragon Blaze. And then we pan out to see Onigashima from afar, and the right horn of Onigashima is severed completely. And then as we pan back into the fight, we see that Kaido's unharmed. Zoro missed. Kaido then looks at him growling, asking why does his katana have Odin's presence? Which I guess because Kaido's so much bigger than them and he's really not, really zeroed in on them, he hasn't got it. That's Odin's sword. Like, hey bro, you should probably be a little, you should probably be a little more careful. And then Big Mom's like, okay, we've underestimated them, we need to get serious. And as Zoro's falling, he's huffing and puffing because, as you know, Enma works by draining the Haki out of him to increase its power. And, it's taking a lot out of him to even use that sword. So using it normally, it's always a tug of war. So it takes a little bit more out of him than his normal swords. But with it now unleashing its power, it's really taking a toll. But as he's falling, he is shot by lightning from Big Mom again. And Luffy yells out his name, hoping he's okay. Big Mom, yet again, she's laughing maniacally. She's just up there chilling like, pretty much, it's kind of like when you're playing a JRPG. Kaido, he's the physical damage, you know, maybe a little bit of like elemental offensive power, but she's pretty much the mage in this. She's the mage. She's the one in the back making sure that she's got this shit on lock. And she says there's no way to escape. And then we get another one of her techniques, which I like yet again. I'm the captain of Thunder God Pirates here. We then see God of Lightning, Tinjin, and all of them are struck with lightning. And Kid uses the golem's arms. Hold on, I think this is up. It's still Punk Vice. He uses the arms of the golem to block it, and he's asked like, fuck, okay, is she a natural disaster? Like, because I don't think he may know about her devil fruit or the extent of it. So he's like, what the fuck is happening? So Luffy got hit. He thought he blocked it, but then while he's inside of it, we then see a little bit of Zeus, you know, some lightning. It pretty much channeled itself inside of it in the form of Zeus, smiled at him, laughed, and then detonated. Law was hit, and there are just lightning bolts raining down everywhere. But as we know, Luffy emerges unharmed. And you know, she's kind of surprised, like, wait a minute, why didn't that work on you? To which Luffy responds, I'm rubber. Now, the last time this happened, and I'm kind of surprised she didn't know this. Reason being, the last time this happened was with NL. Remember, NL was from Skypiea. They don't have dirt, they don't have gold, and they don't have a rubber. So of course he would never know that rubber's an insulator because he doesn't exist up there. So it makes sense for him. But for Big Mom, who is from the Blue Sea, who knows she has all types of natural resources, she's been around the world, should know this. Rubber is an insulator. Electricity does not work on rubber. But anyway, so that's kind of why I'm like, okay, I'm guessing she just had a blank moment. She just kind of forgot in the moment, like, oh yeah, he's a rubber kid. Because that's the thing, her information network and just what people have reported, you know, and then on top of that, you fought him before, so you should know what his power is. So I'm guessing she just got a little too cocky, like, oh yeah, rubber kid, lightning, not gonna work. So anyway, he then goes on to say that, you know, she's gonna pay for what she did to him. She did to everybody else. But before he can hit her, Kaido intercepts him using Boro Breath, to which Luffy takes it head on. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was done. Like, because Boro Breath, it looks like it's a flaming attack, and yet again, rubber can melt, so this should be something that Luffy's weak against. But he emerges relatively unscathed. You can look at his face, he's been hurt. I think this is add a little damage. But Kaido's asking, like, wait a minute, why doesn't my flame work either? And Luffy says, why not? Guts. Alluding back to earlier in the chapter when Kaido said, okay, so you guys aren't just all guts. And Luffy then goes gum gum, and we see a fist hit the left side of Kaido's face. And the ending page, gum gum, Kong, Gatling. And Luffy just proceeds to lay into Kaido. But yeah, good chapter, you know, good action. It's good to see Zoro trying to use Enma a little bit more. It's good to see that the supernovas are actually having a tough time. It's not like, okay, just because we have them outnumbered, just because we're quote the main characters in this, doesn't mean we're untouchable. So it's good to see, you know, them getting their ass handed to them a little bit, because yet again, these emperors have been built up for like more than a decade to be the most powerful pirates out there. So it's like, okay, if y'all want to overcome them, it's gonna be an uphill fight. So I'm glad to see that. Big Mom, come on, woman, you know you should know this. Okay, you should have encountered rubber before. Hell, you have an army of fucking chefs. Some of them have had to wear rubber gloves sometimes. But yeah, let me see what else. Now, what I kind of don't like is the fact that the Boro Breath didn't work. Now earlier this morning when I was scrolling on Twitter, I see some people. I think it was Ohara. Shout out to Ohara. A fucking monolith in the community. But yeah, he was saying that pretty much the way that Guts was written, it was more like willpower. So it can kind of be thought of that Luffy's haki is what protected him, but still, I think there should have been more. Even if that didn't kill him, that should have did more damage, and you know that it should have been expressed like, okay, that's a weakness. I can't take heated attacks. But you know, it's not the biggest gripe in the world. Kong Gatling, we saw this coming. Like every single move that Luffy's ever used in like his base forms are going to be, you know, are gonna come back. You know, Red Hawk, Red Rock. Well, I think those are like variations of pistols. Gum Pistol, Stamp, Rhino Schneider, Rocket, you know, all those are going to come back in some way, shape, form, fashion. So it's a good chapter. It's good to see that, you know, things are still going back and forth. I really want to know about what the fuck's up with Killer's Punisher Blades, because that was awesome. And I also want to know about Kaido's Devil Fruit and Kid's Devil Fruit. Like, what exactly can Kaido do? And what the fuck is Kid's Devil Fruit's name? I mean, we know it's magnetism, but it's like kind of tired of waiting. But, you know, hey, we got a week. We got one whole week before we find out what's next. Yet again, no breaks next week. So, well, no break next week. So good, we can go ahead and get back on the gravy train. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. Thank you so much for sticking with me throughout the video. Yet again, this has been your boy, the D20, signing out. See ya.